Silver certainly has had an interesting 3 months. This is the 3-month chart for silver with a bottoming out just below £42 an ounce and now over £48 an ounce. It seems that it is on the rebound. So what are silver stackers doing right now? Are they buying silver in their droves, or are more conservative people sticking to gold like me? I'm a big fan of investing in gold over silver. I think it has a lot of additional safety with it compared with silver, but at the same time, I am seeing a lot of stackers right now, silver stackers, doing what they do best and accumulating silver at good prices. Now, what is a good price? That is a question. How do you get the best prices for silver? Silver stacking is all about buying as much silver as you can for as cheap a price as you can over that spot, and then holding it and hoping that in time you'll get that return back. And if you've bought low premium, you won't have to worry about selling your items at a premium to make up the difference. Now, I've been buying and selling gold and silver for nearly 11 years. I've been making videos here on YouTube for 10 years, but I'm not here to give you financial advice as to what to do with your money. Everybody is different. Everybody has different goals and budgets. And it's very interesting, nevertheless, to talk about this, to hopefully get the brain juices going, to make people think about the right stuff that might be right for them. The one thing that we can all agree on is that this stuff here, pounds, dollars, euros, yen, whatever it might be, fiat currency, is in trouble. It has been in trouble for a long time. It's devaluing every day, it seems. And part of that devaluation has given us this new baseline for silver. When I started stacking silver, it was around £11 an ounce spot price. I've seen as low as £9.50 an ounce spot price on silver, and now of course at £48 an ounce, with highs earlier this year over, I think it was over £80 an ounce for silver. That was quite heartening to see from a silver stacking perspective. The silver price I never thought it would get there. Will it get there again though? I wholeheartedly think yes. But the big thing that's changed is this devaluation of currency, which has given us a new baseline for where I think the bottom of silver will be. And I think we've seen that bottom. I don't think we're going to see silver drop below £40 an ounce here in the UK, unless I don't even know how that would happen, quite frankly, because money is in such trouble. This stuff here, fiat currency, is in such trouble. Everything's so expensive right now. So what am I seeing on the ground in terms of silver stackers? Now, along with me being a poured silver business, quick shout out to my own website. We don't actually have any silver for sale, but we've got some of our fractional gold range still available, so go and check it out. I am seeing a lot of people buying silver at the moment through secondary markets, and I'm seeing a lot of it being picked up at quite competitive prices. I've seen stuff listed for a couple of pounds over spot price. I've seen even somebody selling Britannias for £50 an ounce over on the Silver Forum. Now, there's two great marketplaces that I would wholeheartedly recommend if you want to try and get involved with decent prices on your silver, and that is the Silver Forum's marketplace, but also Stackers Social. Stackers Social, great community. Silver Forum, fantastic community. Both marketplaces are vibrant. I sell on both marketplaces, and I have deals coming, I would say every week, but at the moment it's been a very interesting one, because my intermediary selling service, by which I take bits of silver for other people and I sell it on their behalf as a consignee, or as a consignment seller, they are consignees. I'm not seeing a lot of sellers right now, and that's really telling. I'm seeing a lot of stackers out there who are holding on to their silver. Perhaps that's partly due to the fact that they've bought at higher prices and they don't want to sell right now, but the few sellers that we do have coming through tend to be sellers that have had their silver for a long time. They've been buying, I helped one gentleman not that long ago sell stuff that in fact, it wasn't even that long that he held it. He bought some stuff through our buyers club back in 2023, and I looked back at the records and he was buying for £23 an ounce, and we got him like £55 an ounce at the time, I think, something along those lines, an average out of that price. And he'd held that for 2 years and doubled his money, which is absolutely crazy. Now, that's not to say that that's the norm for gold and silver. Certainly not the norm that you would expect to buy right now to make a doubling of your money in that time period. Not saying it couldn't happen, because of course we've seen the massive spikes in prices. But the point is that if you are a seasoned stacker like me and you've already got stuff where some of the coins that you might have in your stack you've paid £15 an ounce for, then selling it for £50 an ounce seems like an incredible return on that money. And if you're then going to reinvest that money into something else, or put money from silver into gold, which is definitely something I would recommend people look at, I find gold to be a much much safer animal than silver when it comes to liquidity and premiums and selling. But we'll talk a little bit more on that because there are issues on that as well at the moment. So at the moment, I'm seeing a lack of sellers and a dearth of buyers. There are just a huge amount of people wanting to buy this stuff. And if there's a compromise, isn't there? Because if I get stuff in from this stuff at the moment, major bullion dealers are paying for Britannias. They're paying about £5 or £6 over per ounce in spot. And that tells me that right now they have got quite a lot of demand for silver. And indeed, I posted a deal over on the Stacker Social Deal of the Day group, which was about Atkinson's Bullion. Not sponsoring today's video, they're a great bullion dealer, I'd highly recommend them, but Atkinson's Bullion had a little newsletter that went out. They had some 10-ounce Tudor Beast coins. I think they were Tudor Beasts. I think they were the Tudor Beast Bulls. I suspect if they were the Queen's Beast, they'd have been more expensive. But they were 10-ounce coins, VAT free because they were second-hand coins, and they were £57 an ounce, so £570. There were 8 in stock. I put a little notice up. I'm sure other people went through the newsletter from Atkinson's and saw it like I did. But literally within about 20 minutes, they were all gone. Because £57 an ounce, 570 for a 10-ounce coin, capital gains tax-exempt coin, is an incredible deal. And people are buying that hand over fist. And especially if you're buying it from a bullion dealer where you know that you're going to get a good deal, you're not going to get ripped off, you're not going to get fake stuff. That's really, really important. Now, in terms of the stacking mentality, which is buy as much as you can for as low a price as you can to the market, that is best done through the peer-to-peer marketplace. But there are issues around protecting yourself online. Look, there are some bad eggs in this world. There are some really, really nasty people in this world. And just last week, we put up a post about a robbery of a community member here in the UK. And, that sucks. That really sucks. You've got to be careful. If you're buying on the secondary market, buying on the peer-to-peer network, remember that you're buying from somebody that you don't know online. You're giving them your name, address. That's scary as all heck. And it might seem fun and fine to give it to a chap who's set up a profile on online and branded themselves, and maybe they've got a little YouTube channel or a whatnot channel or something, but you don't know them from Adam. And if they're not like a limited company, you're not going to know who they are. And unless they're long in the tooth like me, and look, you don't need to know my personal name to know that I'm not going to rip you off, or I've got a business, a proper established business. But if you're just buying from Joe Blogs off the internet who you don't know from Adam, that's dangerous. That is risky. You're taking risks where it doesn't necessarily need to have those risks, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So stick to the better, more established sellers who are there. Definitely try new sellers if and where it's possible, but be very conscious of that. Or maybe get a PO box, PO box address. Or that's great, because if you've got a PO box address and you've got a little YouTube handle or a Discord username and stuff, you can get your PO box and have it sent to Joe Blog Stacker at PO box whatever number it is. That's a really safe way of doing things. But bear in mind as well, when you pay for things, they'll get your name from the bank's transfer. So it's risky. It is risky. Now, in terms of keeping the premiums low, there's two sort of ways to go about it with the premium market. Obviously, buy secondhand, but if you're not going to buy secondhand, you're going to buy from the dealers, like I mentioned with that Atkinson's deal for those 10-ounce coins, then stick to some of the larger pieces, and there's a lot of videos about this at the moment where people are criticizing fractional silver and gold. I've got a little box of the 10th ounce and quarter ounce silver Britannias that I've bought at a fraction over spot price. Basically, what I do when I get a seller come in like that, I match what Atkinson's or Chards are paying for them, and I say that's the price. If you want to sell, you sell, because quite frankly, that's what they're worth. They're not worth that. If you buy a quarter ounce Britannia every week, and you're spending £30 an ounce on your quarter ounce Britannia, including postage, and you're paying postage every single week, you're paying £120 an ounce for your silver. Why not put that money in a little piggy bank, put it into a separate bank account, have it earn it would be a pittance of interest, but you'll get a tiny little bank interest every month. And at the end of that 3-month period, 4-month period, you've got 120 quid. You go buy yourself 2 1-ounce silver Britannias from a bullion dealer. Even with secondary market stuff, you can get maybe a little bit more, 2 1/4, 2.5 ounces of silver. Why would you do it? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And people say, oh, you just need to be able to stack anything. But I'm sorry, you're wasting your money. You're literally, I would do it, but I love these $1 banknotes. You are literally ripping up your money and burning it away because it's pointless. And The only thing is that people like me and bullion dealers will thank you at the other end of the life cycle when you come to us and say, oh, I want to sell my quarter ounce silver Britannias. What will you give me? Well, I can tell you for damn sure it won't be £120 an ounce. That is for sure. So avoid those kind of coins, if I'm being brutally honest, other than when you can buy them on the cheap through the secondary markets. That said, you know, some of them do, unless you're like going to set up your own whatnot channel or YouTube channel and sell stuff, or, you know, take the time to sell 16 1/10 ounce coins from a tube on eBay to unsuspecting punters who don't know better, which takes time, energy, effort, and a right old faff and ball ache, quite frankly. There's just no point at all. And then the other way to keep your costs down, to keep your premiums down, is just go gold. Just go gold, because even right now, you can just get the best deal on gold. And this is the really interesting thing. So I've been dealing with this intermediary service for nearly 3.5. Well, I mean, I've dabbled in it before, but 3.5 years. But like 5, 6, 7 years, I've been doing this kind of service on and off, but really ramped it up in the last 3 years. I do apologise. The doorbell rang and I've completely lost my train of thought. So I think I'll just talk a little bit about the gold being that low premium item, which is really good. But I've just remembered what I was going to say. So I've been doing this for like 3 years, a bit longer in terms of the overall time I've been helping people link up with buyers and sellers. And ultimately, gold has never been that liquid for me as an intermediary. When premiums were a bit higher on things, you could get about a percentage point more on your gold than compared with selling back to a dealer. But right now, quite frankly, buying gold sovereigns, capital gains exempt stuff from a bullion dealer at 3% over spot, and then selling them back to a dealer at spot is like, it's a dream. It's really good. That 3% swing, if you're trading gold and you're trading it on a short-term basis, then that 3% swing could make a bit of a difference. But quite frankly, you could buy your gold right now, and in a month's time, you could sell it and you could get 10, 15, 20%, depending on where the gold price is. Of course, that's not a guarantee, not financial advice, etc., etc. But my point still stands that gold now has changed. The animal of gold is very much, you can just buy it and sell it to a bullion dealer and get a great price back for it. Silver, not so much. If you're buying silver from a bullion dealer right now, then you will be paying quite a lot over the odds if it's brand new silver, and depends on the dealer as well. There are a lot of really not very good dealers out there. If you're wondering of my top picks for bullion dealers, there are a number of them that I use on a regular basis, but I'm going to shout out 2 of them. Atkinson's Bullion, who I've got a little coin flip for here, but also Chard's Bullion. They are the 2 best bullion dealers in my humble opinion here in the UK. And they'll look after you fantastically. But even they have to charge VAT on brand new silver. So if you're buying a brand new silver Britannia, there will be a premium on top of it. So my advice, investment advice, as best as I can do it for silver stackers, is if you want to buy silver, do so on a secondary market. Do so safely on a secondary market. Have a look at the established sellers. Have a look at the different platforms that will give you the best options for your silver and gold. And just be careful and be sensible about what you buy and where you buy it from. Ignore fractional stuff. It's just a bunch of hype. And I don't like it. I don't like it actually at all. I think it's a real sort of blight on our industry, quite frankly, because the only people who are benefiting from really like 10th ounce fractional silvers and stuff like that is the manufacturers and the retailers of them. And the retailers will sell you that you have to buy it because it's going to be a barter tool, or because if you can't afford to buy an ounce, that's the only way that you can do it. That's a load of bollocks, quite frankly. We're at the near end of a video. I can swear all I like now. YouTube can't do anything about it from a monetization perspective. It is a load of bollocks. If you're buying 10th ounce silver Britannias for, I've seen them being sold on various different platforms for like, what was it, like 10, 15 pounds, I think, on sometimes, or at least 10 pounds plus post. So, but people go for them. I don't know why they do it. It's just dumb. Have one as a specimen if you like it, but as an investment, it's just going to lose you money. These people don't know it. It's like all of the, these like really shitty coin companies that will sell you really like garbage coins, junk coins, basically at really high inflated premiums, but they'll tell you that it's the best thing that you can ever buy. It's essentially that. 1 gram silver bars in assay cards made by different companies out there. They are making hand over fist from those products because people are buying them because they've been sold a lie. That's just how it is. It's sad. It's not good, but there will be a lot of people who hopefully will learn from that. And I hope that you've learned from my video today, because whilst look, you know, of course it's expensive to buy silver at the moment, 50 quid. Beginning of the year, it was 80 quid plus premium 100 quid. You know, it's pretty crazy really to see how far it's come in that 8 months since the beginning of the year. Where will it go in the future? I don't know. But I think once again, we can all stand united that this stuff, it's like next to useless at the moment and everything's more expensive. I'll finish you with this last thing. Mrs. Backyard Bullion and I and the kids, we went to a beautiful food festival last weekend. And it was lovely to get out with the kids and take them out and see all the different food stalls and stuff. But we spent so much on like not a lot of food. Some of the quality was a little questionable as well, but there were some really good dishes that we had. But you know, it's like 15 quid for a small serving of like a hot dog at a food stand. And you've had to pay like, I think we paid, was it £10 a head for adults and £8 a head for the kids to get into the venue in the first place. So you're already down like, you know, 40 quid plus petrol to get there. And then we bought like 5 dishes. We bought some biltong to take home because we're biltong fans. I think all in, the day cost us like 120 quid. And I'm like, I came back at the end and I was like, it was lovely to get out with the kids and they enjoyed it. And, you know, it was nice to see them enjoying the food and stuff. And even this morning on the way to nursery, my little boy told me, he was like, I love the chicken that we got at the food festival. And I'm like, I love it. I love that. It made my heart sing. But at the same time, like the money that we spent on it, and maybe I'm just old and maybe I remember the days when food cost less. But that's not to derogate these businesses that are trying their best, because ultimately they've got like their fees from the foods festival. Presumably they've got stand fees. They've got to pay overheads on their business. They've got to pay themselves a wage. They've got ingredients are more expensive. Meat is so expensive here in the UK right now. And it all adds up, you know, but ultimately it's because this stuff is worthless, it seems, right now. I mean, I remember when I was at university, this is dating me back a bit, you could get 2 pizzas for £5. I could get 4 pizzas with £10 back then. And we're not just like tiny little like Domino's pizzas, big student, juicy, lovely pizzas, which actually when you woke up the next morning and saw the piece of pizza that you hadn't eaten the night before, it wasn't that nice of a pizza, but they were good pizzas for 2 for 5 quid. I remember when they put the price up when I was at uni, it was 2 for 6 quid and we went, oh my God, that's so expensive. I mean, it's beggars belief, because now you go sorry, I'm rambling, but you go and you buy a pizza from one of these pizza places and it's 20 quid for a pizza from like Domino's. What the hell? When did that happen? Anyway, it is what it is. I hope you've enjoyed my video today. I hope it's enlightened you on the world of silver stacking and silver price movements and what you're going to do with your silver stack. I think that's really, really important and fun to find out what you've got to say. So let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Otherwise, that's it from me. We will see you on the next video. And as always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.